Hey, welcome into the channel. How are you guys doing today? I hope that you are having a great Monday to start your week, that you are safe, that you are warm. I wanted to do a quick live just to get an update as to what is happening out here. Um, they say the blackouts are insane. But first, let's do an update and then we'll check out a couple of videos. Let me make sure you can see it. As you enter, please hit the like button. So they say that the LA wildfires mapped out 40,000 acres, Palisades, and Eaton's blazes barely contained as fears over wind mount. Now, I have seen some that are saying, they aren't seeing as much smoke in certain areas. So California firefighters are trying to contain fast-moving deadly wildfires that began in the Pacific Palisades this past week before the dry winds and escalated the fires return. The Palisades and Eaton fires, along with other smaller blazes, have spread in just days across nearly 40,000 acres. Flames have been fanned by the fierce windstorm that they've been having, 80 miles per hour winds, y'all, known as the Santa Ana winds. Parts of Southern California are under red flag warnings from the National Weather Service through Sunday evening, as strong winds, low humidity, and no possible rain return to risk reigniting or feeding these fires. They really could use some rain, though. The area stretching from Anaheim and Temecula, I think, to Big Bear City and Wrightwood are under red flag warnings. Officials reminded people to stay vigilant and be prepared with a fire plan. So I'm going to remind you to have a fire plan, but also stay vigilant, not just for the fires, but for the people that's out here trying to take advantage of the situation. At least 24 people now are deceased. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner said, as the fast-moving blazes has forced 105,000 residents to evacuate their properties across California as of Sunday morning. Hundreds of thousands of homes and businesses have been left in blackout conditions, with schools in the impacted areas closing their doors. As of Sunday, January 12th, the Palisades fire is 11% contained, while the Eaton fire is 27% contained. So they have a long way to go to get this contained. If the winds pick up like they say they're going to, those numbers may drop. So new evacuation orders arose from the neighborhood of Brentwood and parts of the San Fernandino Valley on January 10th. That was Friday. California Governor Gavin Newsom announced that more than 7,500 local, state, and federal firefighters personnel and 1,200 fire trucks have been deployed in the bid to grasp a handle of the fast-moving fires. I know that they are getting assistance from Mexico as well. President Joe Biden has told California officials to spare no expense, noting the federal government will cover 100% of the cost for the next 180 days. Let's see. The first and most major fire is burning in the Pacific Palisades, in affluent coastal neighborhood west of Los Angeles. It began around 10:30 a.m. on January 7th and has burnt more than 23,707 acres. Around 6:30 p.m. on January 7th, the Eaton fire erupted in the Altadena area north of Pasadena and has engulfed more than 14,000 acres. Another fire was the Kenna fire, ignited in the afternoon on January 9th and has now burned more than 1,000 acres near the Los Angeles Ventura County line. It was at 100% containment as of Sunday morning. So that is truly a blessing. Fanned by the strong Santa Ana winds, the fire threatens nearby communities and infrastructures, prompting swift evacuation orders. The agency wrote on its website, firefighters from Los Angeles and Ventura counties are actively engaged in containment efforts, deploying both ground crews and aerial resources. The Hearst fire ignited near San Fernandino on January 7th, burning nearly 800 acres. It was 76% contained as of Sunday. Another fire nearby, called the Archer Fire, began on January 10th. I hadn't heard of that one, but more than 153,000 residents are reported to have been evacuated across Southern California. Many of the evacuations were in the Pacific Palisades area, but others were in parts of Santa Monica and Altadena, with a mandatory evacuation order in place for the region between Pedro Morada Drive and Pacific Coast Highway due to dangerous conditions. Several Hollywood stars, including Ben Affleck, Tom Hanks, Rita Wilson, and Mark Hamill, have been forced to flee. The Eaton fire alone prompted tens of thousands of evacuation orders. Angeles National Forest official added at least 550 houses were within the evacuation zone of the Eaton Canyon fire. She says, they say, we were having dinner with the family and we just had to leave because the fire was coming so fast. And honestly, whenever I see these pictures, it just looks like a freaking war zone. So casualties, the death toll stood at 24 as of January 12th, which was yesterday. So, because they said they were going to start doing, the sweeps and recovery. A lot of people probably are going to be missing, whether they just haven't contact family or the way things are burned. I mean, you may never know where those people are. He said there are numerous injuries, but the exact count is unknown. The fast-moving wildfires are being fueled by a weather phenomenon called the Santa Ana winds. Gus claimed on January 9th, but the Santa Ana winds are expected to pick back up early this week here. There are people who are impersonating firefighters. There was a story out there where the officer said that the captain went to a certain area and he saw a fireman, or what he thought was a fireman, sitting on the ground, had the jacket on, had the hat on. And when he went over to see if he was okay, thinking it was a fireman, it fooled the police officer. So imagine it fooling people who, are in their homes, and then they get a knock on the door and they're thinking the fireman is saying, okay, you got to go, you got to evacuate. No, they want you to evacuate so they can take your stuff. So he says, as he got closer and looked, the guy was sitting there in handcuffs. So people are doing the most with this situation, as they always do. Excuse me, when something happens. They said, by no stretch of the imagination are we out of the woods, California Governor Gavin Newsom said on Tuesday. Of course, y'all, he being criticized because they say something about he was standing in front of a green screen as if he was at the fire or out there, on site. But anyway, he says, I saw firsthand the impact of these swirling winds and embers at the number of structures that are destroyed. Not a few, many structures already destroyed. I saw on one, excuse me, one YouTuber's channel, Vicky's World, shout out to her. She was talking about how a fire captain said that he got to his neighborhood. He managed to save his home, his parents' home, and I guess sibling or somebody's home, brother home, but not anyone else's home. So I don't know where this is going, but so Newsom dispelled claims of waning water supplies after President-elect Donald Trump perpetrated rumors and accused firefighters of not using ocean water to protect a tiny little fish. Broadly speaking, there is no water shortage in Southern California right now, despite Trump's claim that he would open some imaginary spigot. So they're already feuding, in January 20th. The inauguration hasn't even gotten here yet. So brace for that, y'all. Go ahead on and stock up your homes. It's just so many crazy things happening right now. He says the city is working aggressively to confront this emergency. I saw a video last night, and it was how a lot of wealthy people, well, this particular couple, wealthy, how they own a major portion of water in California. And they have it under the umbrella of the company that they run. And they sell it back to Californians who already pay in taxes for this water. I thought that was just disgusting. Just disgusting. So I do have video I want to put up. Let me stop sharing for a second. These are the blackouts. Hold on. I don't know if that's the right one or not.
Visual from us. Like I always say, I'm just a guy in the back of a helicopter, but we're also taking a look at some of that devastation once again. That's that Palisades neighborhood that we once saw when we were making all that crazy effort to see through the haze and smoke. This morning, we don't have any of that, but that all that devastation definitely remains out there. But we do see law enforcement. That's what we saw in the very first shot, and they are out here in force. They are definitely keeping an eye on all these people's properties. They don't want to add insult to injury with some sort of looting type of situation. But right now, as the fire goes, I'm really very hopeful and positive that when this next wind event comes, we're just going to start dealing with the ash and debris blowing off these hillsides. But take a look at that. 23,000 acres burned, most of it up in these hillsides, and it is completely void of any kind of vegetation. Everybody that lives in Los Angeles, we know what's coming next. But right now, we're just dealing with what we're dealing with, and hopefully this next wind event will not see any fires. Sending it back to you all.
Oh, my God. When you just, I mean, it's still really hard.
Today. Still had this morning, the city coming together.
Did not, for the first time, did not see a glow on the...
Keep that in mind as you head out. Limit your exposure to the outdoors when you can, and wear a mask if you can. I know a lot of kids are back in school today, so administrators very mindful of that as well. And so keeping them inside for recess in the gym, which we very much appreciate as parents, especially with those kids who have upper respiratory issues.
A home, and Luna asked him if it was okay because he was dressed as a fire.
Oh, here we go.
Could we use your house to trial our 24-hour bathroom upgrade system?
No.
We're looking for homeowners within valid states to test our new...
Some stuff,
Okay.
you know, yeah, just...
So this is what I was talking about with the people impersonating firemen.
Perspective, just one at a time.
That's right.
One thing at a time. It's going to be a long road. Here we go. Let's talk about the winds right now and that air quality outside. Did you see that?
Recent wildfires. District Attorney Nathan Hochman, alongside law enforcement leaders, will announce charges today at 2 p.m. in downtown LA. This includes residential looting in Pacific Palisades and a suspected arson incident in Azusa. Authorities have made dozens of arrests and are strictly enforcing curfews in evacuation zones. Meantime, LA County Sheriff Robert Luna says deputies encountered a man impersonating a firefighter. This was when Gigi and I were here yesterday. During the press conference, we couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
They say that he was sitting on a curb, and Luna asked him if he was okay, only to discover he was in handcuffs. Deputies say that they caught him burglarizing a home, and Luna asked him if it was okay because he was dressed as a firefighter, by the way. Several others have been arrested for violating curfew, and 2 people are in custody after attempting to set other fires.
Unconscionable.
Jen,
It's unconscionable.
my goodness.
I don't understand. Well, the LA Unified School.
So are they going out to the party city, or I mean, where do they just come up with these costumes, you know, impersonating a police officer or impersonating a fireman? That's just sick.
The district will reopen offices in most schools today. The only schools, in fact, that will stay closed are those that are in the evacuation zone. So here is a look at the schools located in those mandatory evacuation areas that will remain closed. Okay, so you have Canyon Charter Elementary, Kenter Canyon Charter Elementary, Lanai Road Elementary, Marquez Charter Elementary, Palisades Charter Elementary, Paul Revere Middle School, Topanga Elementary Charter School. Both Palisades and Charter Marquez will need to be rebuilt before they can reopen.
And for the schools that are open, because of air quality issues, masks are recommended for students while on the way to school. Outdoor activities will be limited. Webster Middle School will serve as a food distribution center for those impacted by all the closures, and it will open 9 a.m. to 12 noon today. Still ahead this morning, the city coming together to help those impacted.
9% contained. Of course, the big concern is this. The National Weather Service from LA saying that particularly dangerous winds, they're calling it a particularly dangerous situation. There are going to be red flag warnings and very dangerous winds in place starting early tomorrow morning, lasting through around noontime Wednesday. And so they are calling this critical fire weather that is expected. They are asking everyone, quote, please have multiple ways of getting notifications in case of new fires and prepare ahead of time. So even though the winds have calmed down just a little bit, they are anticipating those wind gusts to ramp up early tomorrow morning. That is why they have issued this situation, calling it a particularly dangerous situation. We are going to.
So for the person who asked me a question in the comments of my, I think, last video, it was about they have never heard of a go bag. When I was saying get your go bag together, and what do you put in a go bag? A go bag is essentially whatever you already use. To make it simple, the most important thing that you wouldn't want to be without, and then adding a first aid kit and adding some other things to it. That's essentially what a go bag is. If you have medications, put that in your go bag. Put some food, preferably high protein, in your bag. Some people like to put a weapon in a bag. It's up to you what you put in your go bag. There's no, you have to have this or you have to have that. But I do recommend having a first aid kit and anything of importance to you that you can fit in your bag. What size your go bag is up to you as well. You can have 2. You can have 3. You can have just one big one. But remember, when you have your go bag, it is a go bag. So if you are like some of these people stuck in traffic and people start getting out their cars and leaving their cars in the middle of the road, you're going to have to walk. So having some comfortable shoes on is going to be beneficial, and having a bag that's not too heavy for you to carry. I think I did a video a year or so ago, and it was showing my husband's go bag, but it was, and I also did one where I did a workout carrying the go bag on my back, just to try to condition myself to get used to that, because I have back issues, you know what I'm saying? So I don't want a bag that's going to be so weighted down. So I'm going to weed out the most important things that I truly need, those important papers and things like that. Change of clothes, any personal, hygiene things. Those are things you want to have in your go bag. But so let's see. I have the news on. I'm sorry. It caught my attention just now. I had one or two other things. I don't know if that was it. I lost it, so I'm gonna have to pull it back up. I think this is it's two different videos. Okay, so that's a shorts. I'm going to show you the longer version. Hold on. So, y'all, please let me know what y'all think about this particular story. It's concerning California and the water supply that was stolen by this couple from California. And now they sell it back to Californians who already paid for it. It's a disgusting story, honestly. And I hope this person don't strike my channel, but I'm going to share it out. And the title is How This Billionaire Couple Stole California's Water Supply. When you can see it, let me know in the comments by hitting the 1. Hey, welcome in, Martin, Christine, William, Song, Stick. How are you? Yes, documents. Definitely put your documents in those go bags. And make sure it's waterproof as well. Hey, Angela, good morning. Good morning, Happy Mac. How are you? Hey, Tall Glass. Hey, Stick. Hey, William. Becca. Critical Thinking. Let's see if y'all have a 1 in here. Thank you, Buried Alive. You have to have those things if you have insurance on it. And then when you think about how they're canceling people's policies, well, their fire insurance policies. What they said, State Farm is there. Yeah. Okay. I see ones in the chat. Let's get to the story. It's so crazy. I'm going to jump in and out just because it's like reviewing and you have to add your commentary to it.
Californians suffer through unprecedented drought. One billionaire couple owns a massive share of the state's water system, seized in a series of secretive meetings 2 decades ago. That system was largely paid for by the very taxpayers whose water these billionaires hold hostage. Urban water systems are desperate for water, but in 2023, they'll receive just 5% of what they requested from the state. The Resnicks are the biggest farmers in California. As of 2007, they owned 4 San Francisco's worth of farmland, and nearly half of Americans buy at least one of their products. Their pistachios, their pomegranate juice, their mandarins, their flowers. It's all under one massive umbrella, the Wonderful Company, a privately owned company worth at least $5 billion. The majority owners, the Resnicks, are worth at least $8 billion. How were they able to take over such a large percentage of what should be a shared public resource? This is The Classroom from More Perfect Union, and today we're looking at how the Resnicks got rich. Linda is a former child actress, the daughter of Jack Harris, a successful movie distributor of the 1950s, most well known for The Blob.
Starring Steve McQueen and a cast of exciting young people.
At 19, she founded her own advertising agency. Stewart was born to a middle-class New Jersey family and started his first business, a janitorial service, in grad school. He eventually acquired American Protection Services, a burglar alarm and security company. Linda approached him about marketing services for the company, and they hit it off, not knowing that one day they'd work together to take over California's water. The lovebirds became business partners. They bought Teleflora, the flower delivery company, and the Franklin Mint, purveyors of inane little tchotchkes. Linda was the marketing person, and Stewart was in charge of business. As Linda told the LA Times in 1993, "I've always said that Stewart and I together make one perfect person, like little salt and pepper shakers." In the late 80s, they found their primary industry, agriculture. They got into the pistachio business. Linda said, "We've done more for the pistachio than anyone ever since it was planted in the Garden of Eden. My husband should be canonized for all the work he's done." They started branching into other products, almonds, pomegranates, citrus, wine, and acquiring more and more land to cover it, including some very important land in Kern County, which granted them water rights in the area. As the Resnicks were building their empire, the state of California was building new water infrastructure with taxpayer money. California's natural water supply is very inconsistent. Vastly differing amounts of rainfall means the state can go from surplus to drought and back very easily. So they build water banks to store water during surpluses to have during droughts. One important storage facility is the Kern Water Bank, started in 1988. The facility was built with hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars, which could have been a good thing. The people of California would have owned the water. But there were two Californians thirstier than the rest, and they wanted more water: Linda and Stewart Resnick, and they had a lot of political power. We'll get to that. In 1994, state water officials, water infrastructure contractors, and agricultural landowners with water rights arranged a secretive meeting at a...
Now you see how this is happening, how this is going down, okay? A lot of things are linked together. It's who you pay into as to how you get things done. This should never have been allowed.
A resort in Monterey Bay, California. These groups, a mix of private companies and public agencies, rewrote California's water rules without any input from voters, taxpayers, or legislators.
Now, how can they do that? Maybe somebody can explain that down below. Is it shady dealings? I'm pretty sure, I guess it's legal. They found a loophole somewhere.
The new rules, called the Monterey Plus Agreement or the Monterey Amendments, were devastating for working Californians and great for agriculture billionaires. The original code included urban preference, a long-standing rule that in times of drought, the state water board would give urban areas, where people live, access to water supplies before agricultural interests. Monterey axed that. That means that in times of drought, the water systems for normal Californians would have to buy water from private companies because they weren't getting it from the state. The new agreement also loosened regulations on paper water. That's water that doesn't necessarily exist anywhere but on paper. The full quantities of water that providers could have, but don't actually need to have. Today, 5 times as much water has been promised and sold as actually exists. And importantly, the meeting changed ownership of the Kern Water Bank. What once belonged to the state was transferred to a few private water contractors, one of which was Westside Mutual, a wholly owned subsidiary of Wonderful Foods. The wonderful employee who runs Westside, Bill Phillimore, is the chairman of the public organization that manages the Kern Water Bank. Boom. One secret meeting, and the Resnicks owned nearly 60% of an important California water resource, built with hundreds of millions of dollars in taxpayer money. The new ownership, combined with the rules on paper and surplus water, meant that during times of drought, the Resnicks could sell Kern water back to the state water systems. They took Californian taxpayers' water and sold it back to them, both.
Now that's some shady stuff right there. They always say that show me a billionaire who didn't do some scrupulous stuff to become a billionaire.
Literally as the water supply, and also to grow expensive food like gourmet pistachios and taxpayers' water and sold it back to them, both literally as the water supply and also to grow expensive food like gourmet pistachios and pomegranate juice. They converted the people's water into products many can't afford. And that's just one water bank. The Resnicks also have control of other water boards and have been sued for directing more water towards their properties. So how do they get away with this Chinatown-level chicanery?
Gonna be a lot of irate citizens when they find out that they're paying for water that they're not gonna get.
With philanthropy.
Now, see how art and reality always mimics.
The Resnicks donate millions of dollars to politicians and research institutions, which help them secure control over water systems, and even get more water and more taxpayer funding. One important project is the proposed California Delta Tunnel, a taxpayer-funded project which would send water from Northern California to Central, where...
Okay, pay attention to this, especially if you live in California. Y'all paid for this tunnel to be built, only to have this happen.
The Resnicks farms are. They've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on state and federal legislation and politicians who support the tunnel project. But their favorite politician is Senator Dianne Feinstein.
You come in here and you say it has to be my way or the highway.
God rest her soul, but she was shady, as most of them are.
Chair of the Energy and Water Subcommittee. She's a close personal friend of the Resnicks, attending their holiday parties in Aspen and maintaining their financial interests. A quick look through the bills she sponsored shows several which would direct money to Kern-adjacent water projects. The Resnicks even ask her for things directly. When a pesky study about endangering salmon and shad fisheries threatened the Delta Tunnel, Stewart wrote a letter to Feinstein demanding a new study. She immediately forwarded it to the Obama administration, who agreed to spend $750,000 on a new study. It returned the same results as the first one. Can't buy science.
Shady.
But the Resnicks have tried. They are among the top donors to the University of California system, with their donations focusing on agricultural and ecological studies. The Resnicks have basically bought entire departments who put out studies on how water systems should be managed and where funding should go. That leads to even more federal and state taxpayer dollars being used to fix up what the Resnicks profit off of. This is all bad for California, even in a capitalistic sense. Agriculture uses 80% of California's water, but only represents 2% of its GDP. The Resnicks' water monopoly is just one way their quest for wealth hurts the rest of us. They allegedly lobby for increased tensions with Iran to keep embargoes on superior Iranian pistachios. Their giant crops lead to...
So basically, they want to be the top seller and block out others. I mean, how much money is too much money, though?
The monocultures, which kill important pollinators. They siphon taxpayer dollars into the company town charter schools they own, set up to train children to work for their farms.
Oh my God. See what I'm saying? When I first saw this video last night, I said that I don't know what to say about these people, but they deserve each other. They are salt and pepper shakers.
And of course, like any company of this size, they exploit their workers. We need to treat water for what it is, a necessary public resource, a human right, and something that shouldn't be owned by anyone, and work towards legislative change that stops people like the Resnicks from stealing it. Thank you for...
So y'all, go check out this channel, More Perfect Union. He has a lot of, he was digging on a lot of different things. So let me get off of here and go back to here. See what y'all talking about in these comments. There's enough money for everyone's needs. Yeah. I gotta take this one off. So I can pull up my comments. Did you hear Biden said he wants to bail out California? I didn't hear him say he wanted to bail out Asheville, North Carolina flood victims. Oh, no. Oh, no. I mean, I know personally that there are not just celebrities, not just rich people who have lost things, but California is the richest state, if not, the top richest state in the United States. And yeah, Martin, you might have came in late. I read that in the article before I started playing the video. Good morning, Sharon. Good morning, Teresa. It's scorched earth in California, parts of it anyway. They donated to Newsom when the people were trying to recall him a year or two ago. He needs to go. So let's go with the TikTok before they decide they want to get rid of that TikTok, because TikTok is exposing them. That's what that's about. They try to say it's just because of national security. And yes, national security is very, very important. But they trying to get rid of TikTok because of hold on. They're trying to get rid of TikTok because they're getting exposed on TikTok. I'm not going to do a lot on TikTok. Let me pull it up. I'm trying to find a fresh one, like updated. Hold on, let me share this.
We've all had a really big lesson.
What is it?
In that our experience of reality can change in a moment. Tuesday, we woke up to this big plume of smoke, and then that was a real exciting day. As far as here in Palisades went up, and Wednesday it came within 150 yards of the house, and these guys with their planes came down and put that retardant down there, and those helicopter pilots they're incredible. We're fighting as hard as we can to save our city. Gosh, I'd never thought I'd say that. Who would have thought?
So this is a wake up for celebrities who thought that they were untouchable, celebrities who thought they might be better than others. You are just like everybody else, and you can be affected by many things. Your money can't hide you from. The only difference between them and the regular folk is, and I have sympathy for everybody, but I have more for the regular people because like somebody said in the comments, bank accounts haven't burnt up. So they have a way to replace what insurance won't do, because insurance is canceling a lot of people's policies. Or they can go to one of their extra homes. I think Ben Affleck went to his ex-wife's home, Jennifer, whatever her name is.
This massive operation to feed and help those in desperate need started small.
We started with 2 hot dog cars, and now we're here.
When the fires hit, street
Now this is what I like to see.
food vendor Jimmy Medina and his son did what they could. they handed out hot dogs. But then he put out a call on social media for more food and more help.
It's not only us now, it's multiple. A lot of people are helping us out.
That call out led to this turnout on Thursday night, with people dropping all kinds of donations for anyone in need. And this was the turnout today.
Now, they say FEMA is there helping, but I haven't seen, just like North Carolina, I haven't seen a lot of the help. I haven't seen the video. Maybe I should look for it a little harder. I don't know.
His and other street vendors' operations taking over the Santa Anita racetrack parking lot. Street food chefs from all across Los Angeles joining in.
We've been working for more than 12, 15 hours a day. We just came to try to do the right thing. We didn't expect to inspire so many other people.
Comfort food, giving people who lost so much the fuel to simply keep going.
This means the world to us. We care about this community, you know? It's the most important thing, coming together and helping everybody.
Across the disaster zones, restaurants feeding and cheering first responders as well. Chef Jose Andres making sure firefighters here don't go hungry.
We are obviously in the different fires trying to provide food to the firefighters, making sure we have food almost 24 hours a day.
Simple dishes with so much heart.
Oh, that's her name. Her name is Jennifer Garner, because she was with that chef I saw on a news station the other day. Ben Affleck's ex-wife, Jennifer Garner. She was helping also feed people. But I have not seen any other celebrities out there feeding people. I know they're all going through something, but I mean, if she going through stuff and she can come out there and she have kids and she have a little farm in her backyard, where is the help, you know?
For helping this community heal. This massive operation to feed and help.
Is this or will it be the worst natural disaster in the history of the United States?
I think it will be in terms of just the costs associated with it. In terms of the scale and scope, I'll only remind the folks in California with the Tubbs fire.
Mel Gibson said, he said all the California money going to Governor Newsom's jail. I'm sorry, y'all. That was just funny. Because he do be having a lot of gel in his head.
Fire, 5,600 houses were lost. And of course, Camp Fire, we had 18,000 housing units lost and 85 people that lost their lives. Currently, we're getting confirmation from the coroner. So we always have to be careful on the death toll. But it's in the 13 range. And I've got search and rescue teams out. We've got cadaver dogs out. And there's likely to be a lot more.
Is this or will it be the worst?
Do you have a sense at this point why the area was so unprepared?
I think that they were very prepared. This is something that they are very used to. They fight fires all the time, but they have never seen 100-mile-an-hour winds that are fueling the fire. And those winds and that weather condition is what really impacts, where this fire is going to go, but more importantly, how they're able to try to contain it in those first few hours and days. And because it was in such a populated area, it just makes it that much more challenging to be able to get in there and secure the perimeter, but as well try to save as many homes as possible.
Do you have a sense at this point why the
kids cannot go to school? Kids and grown-ups are homeless. They don't have anywhere to live.
He's been watching this on the TV with me as well, and he's been asking what's going on, what's up with the fire. And then today we woke up, the air was okay, and we were like, let's go help. We have to, because we could easily be the next victims.
I'm here with my family, my mom and my sister. And yesterday, I took some friends over to come here and help.
I just needed to come out and do something to help people. Sorry, I feel so bad for the people.
That music's
It was like a hurricane, just fire, no water, but like 80 miles an hour plus. It felt surreal.
Was the fire like racing down the hill at that point?
Yeah.
Man, that's what's scary about this. It just was shooting.
Like a blowtorch?
Like a blowtorch. It was literally just shooting off of the mountain. It felt like you're being attacked by a storm.
Yeah.
As the fire bore down on them, Zaire put his wife, baby, and mother into the car. Jameer grabbed what he could.
I'm lucky to even have the little bag of clothes that I have left. But as far as trophies, memories, diplomas, everything else just went up in flames.
My mom just said it to me. She's like, everything's gone. You mean the books that we have? Like nothing? I'm just like, Mom, it's all gone. All of it. Every memory, all those things are gone. We have whatever's left in our heads to rebuild with. All of it's gone.
It was like a hurricane, just fire, no water, with like 80 miles an hour plus.
And this has been a very difficult fight.
This is all that's left of Kelly Lauren's Malibu, California home.
I lost all my writing, like all my books. Yeah, you're like tearing up. It's like, it's just hard to, I don't know, I just like remember that after, but everything I've like written for my whole life, and like I journal and write a lot.
She's one of thousands of people whose entire lives went up in flames in Southern California as the wildfires continue to burn. The homes of celebrities like Billy Crystal, Adam Brody, and Leighton Meester, and Paris Hilton are gone. At least 5 people have died, according to authorities, and it's spread to tens of thousands of acres.
It was like a vortex of embers. There was no oxygen. I couldn't breathe. I barely even made it to my car.
A representative from FEMA spoke on CBS Mornings.
And help is going to come in many forms. It's going to come from FEMA, from the federal government. It's going to come from...
Is it going to come, or is it already there? Which is it?
From our volunteer agencies. It's going to come from your insurance company. And so some of the things...
Oh, Lord. Y'all ain't going to get no help. Not the way y'all need. She talking about the insurance company. Is she aware that the insurance companies have been canceling fire policies for 2 years now? They were even canceling policies while the fire was taking place because they don't want to go bankrupt. A lot of insurance companies that cover those things, they have left California.
Things people need to do right now is, one, make sure that they are safe. The most important thing that they can do is ensure that they're out of harm's way.
It is reportedly the worst fire in the history of Los Angeles.
That's ridiculous. I just saw on my phone. Let me see if I can show it to y'all, because I don't know.
And this has been a very difficult 5 days in Southern California. We want to thank.
Stop. Don't do that. Okay. The Game, the rapper, The Game, he went out with stuff as well. And that's what I was looking for. Like, where are the people hitting the community? I need to see that happening. Like, I'm not even in the community of Boone. I'm just near Boone. But when I visited there and saw, you know, what was going on there, God directed me to this person, Jason, and me and him, we just chatted up. And every now and then we still talk. And he was telling me about all the stuff that was going on and how FEMA would come into certain areas that have been receiving things outside of them and redirecting it to where they are. So people were bringing things in so it can immediately reach the people and not have to go through, you know, you writing, filling out a form and all this other stuff. None of that. I don't know. So here is this. Let me see if my volume's up. Oh, commercial. Hold on.
If you want to sit at the casino at home and play some authentic slots, I just saved your time. Download.
Up early to continue his relief efforts after the California wildfires.
Homeless.
What up? Good morning.
all over, man. Yeah, you good people. Yeah, we down here, man. What up, man? Good people doing this good work, man. We out here, man. Yeah, we on the ground with it, man. Doing beautiful things out here. People, man, they, you know. Yeah. Flick up, man. You want a selfie?
That's cute.
Yeah. Thanks, sir. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you going, man.
I mean, if you a big rapper like the game and other people, you need to be out there in the streets because it means a lot to the people who are the firefighters and everybody.
For a few hours today, I'm gonna come back in the morning, every morning, bring y'all coffee, man.
Oh,
I got you, bro. Thank you. Yeah, come on, bro. Focus, man. You ain't no picture.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Come on, man.
he was saying what all he was bringing. I was trying to find it.
We done this with our big man Joe right here, man.
Y'all who've been donating to us, man. We appreciate the love. Thank you to my boy over here for coming out here. Much love for all of you guys.
Yeah, y'all have a good morning, man. We out here, down here, getting it in, doing whatever we can to support. The beautiful thing is that the city is out, the world is out. We can hear y'all loud and clear. We see y'all, everybody that's doing everything that they can. A lot of people have been asking me, you know, how do they help? Where do they go? Anything, man. A lot of people down here, the Eaton Canyon fire, a lot of people lost their homes. Out here in Altadena, they got I'm gonna post a GoFundMe link for everybody that needs help. And I'm gonna keep posting stuff, man, along with Gina Views, DJ Head, Big Boys Neighborhood, K-Day, like everybody has been so supportive of each other, man. It's beautiful to see. Yeah, good morning to y'all. All right, love.
So he's been taking blankets to the people, food to the people, etc. I mean, that's what you have to do. You got to get out there. Okay, so how did I get on that one? Hold on, y'all. I don't know how I got on that. Now I got to pull it back up. Ooh, child. It's going on. Hold on. That's his vacation. Not to say, you know. Oh, okay. I ain't even sharing it. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. So today is day one for me with fasting. So if y'all hear my stomach growling in the background, I do apologize. There's no monster in here. There's no monster in here. Got 3 days on this fast. Juice fast. Wait a minute. Where did it go? Oh, here we go.
Houstonian David Steiner's $6.9 million vacation home. Steiner describes his shock at learning his Malibu house had survived.
You know, it certainly was emotionally draining when I thought it was gone.
Then these pictures began emerging in news coverage. The 3-story house still standing. No signs of any damage.
You know, I tell everybody I lost a piece of property. They lost their homes. You know, they lost.
Exactly.
We in the newsroom here have put together this incredible animation that shows the timeline of how this fire advanced through the communities of Pacific Palisades and Malibu. Here it is, January 7th at 6:17. It was at 2,900 acres. And then on January 8th, that explosion to 15,000 acres. And then the next day, 17,000 acres as it progressed into the mountains. And then on the 9th, 19,000 acres. And you can see how far it had gotten into Malibu. And then we come to yesterday at 20,000 acres. And you can see and then to 21,000 acres. But you see how far across it's spread, and all the way up to the 11th, which is today at 22,660 acres. This is just information from 7:30 a.m. today. We in the newsroom here.
JD Vance was on television today talking about lack of competency on your part.
Okay.
What do you say to
I haven't-
You've heard this almost every single day.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him. Hurricanes that were attached to fires, unprecedented wind experiences, heroic firefighters from all across the United States. We got folks from Texas, we got folks from Wyoming that have been pounding on this, the best next-gen technology. We've got these fire hawks, guys with night vision goggles, pounding these fires 24/7. We've got thousands of National Guard men and women that have been on here. We pre-positioned 120 engines, helicopters, dozers, water tenders. We did that on Sunday, 2 days before this event. So with respect to the future vice president, I didn't hear his remarks, but I would invite him, as I did Donald Trump, to visit with the community, express empathy of the scale of this tragedy.
This is going to be a hell of a month. This year this is the 13th day of January, and this is where we are. This is where we are.
Multiple helicopters working on the area. You could see there a water drop on this particular home. There's another water drop coming now. This appears to be one of the Firehawk helicopters, and they are going to make a targeted and precise water drop. Multiple helicopters working on the area. You could see there a water drop on this particular home. There's another water drop coming now. This appears to be one of the Firehawk helicopters, and they are going to make a targeted and precise water drop. Multiple helicopters working on the area. You could see there a water drop on this particular.
Okay, so they're calling this the biggest land grab, kind of like what happened in Hawaii.
So basically, this is going to be the biggest land grab in California history. It's so overcrowded in Los Angeles that for the last few years, they've been putting homeless people on buses and shipping them out hours away to surrounding counties. It's still not enough. All the new major tech, entertainment, and social media companies want their headquarters in Los Angeles, around all the content creators, all the entertainers, celebrities, where everything is trendy. If you think these people who are homeless, losing their homes and businesses, is about to go back to that land and just rebuild and start their lives over, you're tripping. You don't know how it works. These insurance companies that are dropping them, they're successful because they do the same thing all big businesses do. That's one major company own multiple companies that own companies that own companies. So if they ever mess a bunch of people over or get into trouble, you only can sue that one company, not the major company. They'll just file for bankruptcy and you won't affect the CEO's money or none of that. But back on track to this land grab. They're going to start offering people checks, reminding them that they can just go get a new house, new car, and new furniture instead of waiting 5 to 7 years to go to court with these insurance.
And that's what they're doing in North Carolina. Although the check was $700 and you had to apply to get even more. And a lot of people were being denied. So they don't want people to rebuild. They wanted the illusion of people to rebuild, but they don't want them to rebuild because that is prime property in the mountains. That's prime property in California and other places. This is not the first land grab. And why all land grabs consist of burning things down? Because it's cheaper to burn it down and allegedly and build new instead of having to tear things down. It's already burnt. It's ashes. Most of the places are ashes.
Insurance companies to try to get them to pay you out for dropping you during hard times in a natural disaster. You think they're not going to take that check? Don't be silly. This is a land grab and it's just happening right here in front of our eyes. I'll be the first to tell you this. So basically this.
Who is a mystery buyer that has bought up 54,000 acres of land
and up to $1 billion over in California near Travis Air Force Base. Travis Air Force Base is known to be the gateway to the Pacific and handles more cargo and passengers through its air terminal than any other Air Force base in the United States.
Now, do you see why I say they are fighting to get TikTok down? Because people be digging and people be researching and they giving us this stuff. They don't want that. They don't want this information out there.
States. This base is located northeast of San Francisco. The Black Plains is where the Air Force Base is, and all the red areas is where this investment group has bought farmland. California Congressman Garamendi has been on the forefront of attacking this issue. Flannery Associates are a group of Silicon Valley elites that have been announced to be the buyers. This group includes LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman, Steve Jobs' ex-wife, Stripe founders Patrick and John Collison, and their plan is to build a utopia city. According to multiple sources, this investment group has been strong-arming farmers to sell through litigation, or even suing the farmers that sold them land. And this Air Force Base is worried about security. Thoughts? Who is a mystery buyer that has bought up 54,000 acres of land and up to $1 billion over in California near Travis Air Force Base?
I wasn't paying attention.
The Americans searched around among the haystacks with a hatchet and split the children's heads open.
Okay.
We're dealing with a myriad of issues. I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor down in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those.
For weeks of speculation, we now know who's behind a big land buy out in Northern California and what they plan to do with it. You might remember we shared some new information with you on Monday. That group is called Flannery Associates, and they have quietly purchased about $800 million worth of farmland in Solano County. So who are these people? Why are some people concerned? Emily Finn has been digging into the details for us this morning. Emily, what have you found thus far?
Well, hey, Marky, after 5 years of
And here they say we are being conspiracy theorists.
Investigating who is behind Flannery Associates, the big secret, as you mentioned, has been revealed. It's a group of wealthy Silicon Valley investors who have spent $800 million so far to buy up the land surrounding Travis Air Force Base with plans to build a so-called utopian city. We spoke with Congressman John Garamendi, who represents the area, and he tells us he still has concerns about the project's potential impact on the local farmers.
I've been around a long time, and I've seen these kinds of pie-in-the-sky utopian cities come and go. If I were an investor in this, I'd be very, very concerned.
For years, government officials in the Air Force's Foreign Investment Risk Review Office have been investigating the now largest landowner in California's Solano County, 60 miles northeast of San Francisco. Flannery Associates has spent $800 million to buy up 3 sides surrounding the Travis Air Force Base. The investors, including LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman, Stripe co-founders and siblings Patrick and John Collison, and prominent Silicon Valley investor Michael Moritz, just to name a few, have spent well above the market value for the 55 acres of farmland. Congressman John Garamendi says they've even pressured farmers with legal action to fork over their land.
These folks have used strong-arm mobster techniques to try to force landowners to sell. Generational family farms have been sued for the unwillingness, sued because they don't want to sell their family farm. And I'm going, come on, guys. You've created a very, very bad atmosphere in Solano County.
The group hopes to transform the farmland into a so-called utopian city, offering clean energy, reliable transportation, and jobs to thousands of residents. But the land is not currently zoned for urban development, and Garamendi has national security concerns with the location of the project being so close to Travis Air Force Base.
Presently, that land is zoned in such a way that development cannot take place there. If they do an initiative, if they override the current zoning plans, then they could encroach on the base's operation.
Residents of Solano County must vote to rezone the land, something Garamendi says will be an uphill battle and doesn't address state and federal rules as well. Representatives for Flannery have reached out to him to discuss their plans, but Garamendi isn't convinced they have a solid plan in place and wants to speak with their developer.
So that's insane.
Hello. Yeah, so they purchased
this land here as well as on the other side, which is a bit scary. Yeah, all of this. People know what we will be giving up, but what will we get in return is the larger question, and no one really knows that with certainty.
Solano County, California sits just north of the Bay Area and south of Sacramento. And for the past 8 years, its largely middle and working class communities have been facing what many locals consider a hostile takeover.
They've destroyed families. They don't care. They do not care about us, no matter what they say.
Just, you can't make this shit up. You know, I have never
Sorry.
seen anything like this.
We visited Solano County in June to learn more about a battle between a local community and a secretive group intent on creating its own society. The story began in 2017.
A farmer from out in the area called me and said, hey, somebody's buying land out here. And I thought, okay. He goes, but it's a lot of land. So I went down and to the county and looked at the property records, and I could see the name Flannery LLC, and that they had bought up at that time more than 20,000 acres.
Albert Medvitz and his wife, Jeannie, moved back to Solano County in 1987 to run her family's farm, one of the many dryland farms in the region.
In 2019, we ourselves got a letter offering to buy our ranch at inflated prices. We made it clear there's no way we're going to sell this ranch. And they simply could not seem to comprehend why people would turn down money for something that maybe more value than money could buy.
They decided to sue the ones who would not sell to them.
They came in the dark of night, kind of. They did this stuff secretly. You know, they've just ticked off a whole lot of the community. And then they have the gall to sue farmers that don't want to sell. It's just like, what are you thinking?
It's these secret meetings, y'all.
Flannery also sued dozens of other family farmers who held out after discussing the value of their land amongst each other, accusing them of collusion and antitrust violations.
Of course they talked. Farmers do that. People do that. They want badly. One's right near the water, and that person is not giving it up. So these farmers, what's happened is they are going broke trying to fight back against these billionaire boys.
And you just can't win with that because they got long money. And that's the reason they take you to court, because they know you do not. And you're just eventually going to give up because you're going to go broke trying to save your property.
It's just been agonizing. There were so many people who were wounded by this.
The buyers maintained a veil of secrecy around their identity until August 2023. That's when the New York Times broke the news that Flannery, which eventually spent $900 million buying up 66,000 acres of land, is the front group for a company called California Forever. And California Forever, backed by billionaires such as Reid Hoffman, Laurene Powell Jobs, and Mark Andreessen, wants to build a privately run city in the middle of the county's protected farmland with far less regulation.
The new city would be located north of Highway 12 between Travis Air Force Base and Rio Vista.
The group wants to build a green community that it claims will include thousands of affordable homes, shopping, dining, and walkable neighborhoods.
So they're saying they want to be good neighbors with people in Solano County, and at the same time, they're suing their own literal fence-by-fence neighbors.
Exactly.
Investors in California Forever have been largely mum on the project and strategy. The public face of California Forever is its CEO, a former Goldman Sachs whiz kid named Jan Schwamek. He grew up in Eastern Europe, was a young prodigy in London, and founded a failed Twitter-like app. Here he is talking about the lawsuits at a tech conference.
It was a hard decision, but we have laws on the books that protect against that kind of conduct. And we'll leave it to the courts to figure it out.
What is the law that says if you want my property and I don't want to sell it to you, you drag me to court?
There's no law like that. What we have a law against is the law that says if the 6 gas companies, the gas stations in town get together and say that they're going to charge $50 for gas, then there's price fixing laws against that.
Schwamek has also been confronted by residents.
That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. That's like somebody Like my neighbor has their house up for sale. House is worth millions. My little house is only worth, when we bought it, $360. But because I'm across the street from my neighbors who have $1 million homes, my equity shot up. Now my home is worth $500. So if they're selling their home and somebody say, well, I don't want that home, I want her home. And they come and they say, I want to buy your home. Even at inflated prices, I want to buy your home. And I said, well, I don't want to sell my home. You know, I don't put a lot of work into it. We're still working on it. Well, I want your home. So we're going to come and we're going to sue you to take your home. That is so ridiculous.
I cannot tell you how much hatred I have for these people. Just hatred. Schrammick was crude and did not understand that he would have had a much better reception if he had talked to people.
Schrammick self-published a book in 2009 titled Racing Towards Excellence, which summed up his personal outlook with a misquote attributed to Ayn Rand. Quote, the question isn't who's going to let me, it's who's going to stop me.
Wow.
The stakes are sky high, both locally and for the nation. If the project goes through, a precedent will be set with billionaires able to buy their way through community resistance and create their own privately held societies. And if that sounds exaggerated, it's already in progress elsewhere.
Legacy systems of governance keep individuals from reaching their full potential.
Andreessen, one of California Forever's billionaire tech investors, is also an investor in a company called Pronomos, which is trying to build its own radical tech city.
Hello, hello.
Oh, what happened?
Period.
For weeks of speculation, we now know who's behind it.
I don't know what happened to that, y'all.
Yeah, so
This is what I do at night to stay warm and get some kind of sleep. I'll go to the car lots and I'll go and I'll get underneath of the back of a car. And usually because of the tire that's underneath.
Y'all, I've been on here long enough. Long enough. I'm going to have to get off. So thank y'all for coming in. I do appreciate it. We see that, you know, things haven't changed no matter what year we are in. If some billionaire person wants what you have, who's going to stop them? Like he said, who's going to stop me? Y'all keep California and everybody in your prayers. I will see you guys later on today. I don't know if it'll be alive, but I will see you guys later on today, y'all. If you haven't hit the like button, definitely hit the like button. If you got anything from it, if you didn't get anything from it, I don't care. Hit the dislike button. If you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing to the channel. We have a goal this year of at least 115,000 subscribers, which I call y'all family members, cousins. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Y'all take care. Remember that I love you, but God truly loves you more. He created only one you. Be the very best you that you can be. And when you are, go out and spread God's love. Do something for somebody.